Hello everybody, welcome to Red Tool House, or what I'm calling right now the surface of the moon. Well, pigs have been voracious, but I wanted to give an update. Many of you have asked for updates on the pigs, so here we are. No, I'm not just down to two. These are the two smart ones that knew how to come around the post. The other ones are standing there with their face against the gate. They don't know to come around the post. So I tossed out a little bit of macaroni and cheese to try to bring them in here a little bit. But they're doing quite well. Really growing fast. As you can see, this white barrow here, one of the two white ones we had, really growing. They're extra tall. Everybody's growing growing well at the same rate. The smaller pigs that we had that were from a younger litter are growing pretty much the same rate. So scale-wise, they're pretty much the same. So everything's coming out well there. Really, the only issue that I have currently is what you see here, my sacrificial area. Again, I don't normally have this many pigs on pasture. I'm not set up to have this many overwintering, and so this is not good. This is an issue. So I'm frantically working to get my boar pasture ready and open up some additional areas in the woods to let them get out and get off of this. This is going to cause some erosion issues here in the next couple months. So we're trying to avoid that as much as possible. It looks like they figured it out now. Now they're coming. So my two boars, still planning to keep the two boars. Right now, the plan is to have them further up the valley in a pasture. I've documented that quite a bit with some of the new fence we've built. They're doing well. Here's one of them, and here's the other. And so they're really doing well, putting on weight well. So I discussed in one of the videos prior to that we had a barrow that I thought was packing some extra heat, that maybe had a testicle left. And that's actually him right here. I don't know if he's in the camera shot. Actually, the situation turned out that he is not. After inspecting, and I want to do a video about that, but I just couldn't be able to get him down in the barn between enough light and being able to hold a camera and all the squealing. It just didn't work out. So I didn't shoot it, but it's him right here. Make sure that is him. No, that's the gilt. Where'd you go, you little sucker? Here he is. This barrow right here. So, thought on his left rear haunch, I thought he had what looked to be a testicle. I even was able to grab him and feel it. It's like, okay, that's a solid mass. So when I came back the next day to do an inspection, he actually had a bit of a scab on it. I thought, okay, well, that's obviously not a testicle if it's scabbed over. It turned out to be a bit of a cyst. And whether it took care of itself naturally or his brothers and sisters took care of it for him, it is completely gone. There's a little scar there, just an area that had scabbed over and kind of crusted over, but it's good to go. So crisis averted there. And so David, you were right. You didn't miss one. I stand corrected. So we're good to go there. So as we've discussed, we've got 15 pigs and 2 boars, so we're keeping those 2 boars, and I'm going to hold back at least 2 gilts, maybe 3. So if we hold back 3, then obviously that's 10 pigs that we'll take to market, and obviously there'll be barrows and the gilts that we don't want to keep. Specific gilts that I know I'm keeping right now, I've narrowed it down to, or I'm definitely keeping 2, and that's Red right here. She really like her conformation, fills out nice, but she's not too chunky. She holds her own. All of the pigs we got from David at Six Oaks Farms, their teat count's exceptional, so she's good there. So I like everything about her so far. The other is one of these blacks that looks like a dang boar. I don't know if I know it's not that, because that's a boar. It's not stubby tail there. It's one of these two. If I can see underneath, look under the hood here. Yeah, just walked out of front of the camera there. So that gilt, she's as big as my boars. And conformation, I like the conformation of that. Again, I don't want a pig that's going to put on too much weight. This boar likes to bite me in the back of the leg. He does that all the time, you little jerk. Don't you? You little biter. You're a biter. But keeping that large black gilt, I think she'll be pretty good. Another thing I've noticed and really impressed with is this year is the first year of doing hand feeding or daily feeding. Before, when pigs would get this size, I'd be using the big 2-ton feeder, be filling that up every couple weeks, and not really interacting with them much. But look at this. I mean, this is great. Quit biting my leg, you little jerk. This is great interaction. You know, any other litters, any other pigs that I have, there's no way in the world I'd be able to have this much contact with them. So this is awesome. Yeah, I'm really digging this closeness with the pigs. It allows me to work with them better. Now, feeding time, the little buggers are still laying into me. One of the boars likes to sneak up behind me and grab my pants leg, and sometimes he'll get a hold of a thigh, which hurts. But we're working on that. But I love I just love the temperament of them right now with allowing me to do this, to rub on them and feed them by hand and stuff. So we're going to do more and more of that with the boars. Make sure they're definitely okay with hanging out with me. Really embrace that chill temperament that they seem to have. So what's the latest on Merida? Well, as you can see, she's kind of kicking it right here now. So still on the farm. It's interesting with all this stuff going on with the pandemic. I was contacted locally by a buyer and said, hey, I want to buy your sow. She's available. You know, they were running out of pork in their... Stop. Get away from the camera. Running out of pork in their... He's going to knock that over. Running out of pork in their store, and he wanted to buy... Get away from my camera. Now look what you've done. He was running out of pork in his store, and he was frantically looking to buy any hogs. So he was offering to buy Merida off of me, and I didn't sell her, obviously. Still not quite sure what I'm going to do with her yet, but in light of everything going on, I thought I better hold on to her just in case. You always need to have as much supplies as possible in this situation, so we held on to her. So here's a good illustration, one of the best illustrations to show people that aren't quite sure about what does a pig eat when it's in the woods and it's eating all the nuts. Well, if you can look behind me, you can see that line. That line is not leaves piled up. It's a single strand of electric going through the woods. There's nothing different about either side of that fence other than what the pigs have access to and what they don't have access to. So they literally come around. This is usually covered in leaves, and they come around and they eat every single leaf when they get bored. When there's just not enough mass, they move on to leaves and eat them like potato chips. So again, this is shame on me for being in this situation. We need to get the pigs out of here. This place normally looks like this. Nice and green, some grass coming up, getting some cover. Right now we've got nothing here. So again, we've got to get this corrected. I've got to get these guys out of here. Primary goal, of course, is get the boars separated. That's my biggest clock that's ticking right now. So there's been no shortage of water around here. Again, this has been an extremely wet winter, extremely warm winter. And so the springs, the seeps have just been running like crazy. I've shown that on multiple videos in the past. But this one here that the pigs made in my road, they're just making it bigger and bigger. I'm going to have to get in here and get this filled in and move back with a spring box or something to get it out of my road. But it's been very handy as far as water source goes. This pasture does not have access to my main water source, which is the main creek that goes through the valley. Usually in the summertime, if I've got this layout, then I have to worry about getting them water. But if these things keep producing the way they're doing now, even if they diminish a little, then we'll have plenty of water here. So in expanding this pasture or moving the pigs to another spot, I'm not going to expand as much as I'm going to just open areas for them to get over. So a new paddock or a new pasture area, if you will. But I can go this way. That's my property, that direction. Obviously, we could go up the hill, tons of mast, all the way to the top of the ridge is me. So there's 2 more major benches there. This way as well. The pasture that they're on right now, of course, goes past the old boat and stops along that tree line. So we could go that direction. But I want to refrain from going that direction just yet because the boars are going to be further up the valley too. So I'm hoping distance is going to help me with my boar control. We'll see. And obviously I could put them over here on this pasture. This pasture is still fenced off, but I usually let that wait until late spring, early summer. Let it get really green and juicy. That's growing up nice already, but it needs another month to really get rocking. So I'm hesitant to put them on there, but we may have to. But we'll see how it goes. Logical direction may be to go that way, where there's deer running right now. So as you know, if you follow the channel, another new thing that we're trying this year is fermenting our feed. And I've really been impressed with how this has worked out. So right now, still just doing a 2-barrel system, 2 55-gallon barrels, food grade. And I'm putting 200 pounds of our dry powdered feed. It's in the bags here behind me. Dry powdered feed in here. And as much as 20 to 25, even starting to lean a little bit more toward 30 gallons of water in here. And so as this soaks, it's crazy. You can see the line on this barrel of feed is right here. When I put 200 pounds of feed in, it's down here. But after that water's added, and over 24 hours, it swells and soaks up and rises up that high. So it completely fills the barrel. And then, of course, within a couple days, it's fermenting. That's why I'm doing it here in the garage. Kelly's not too impressed with me doing this in the garage because of the smell. But here in another month, we'll be able to move to the barn when it warms up. So kind of rotate. Right now, this is the latest. This barrel is ready to go as far as feeding out of. So in the morning, I'll feed out of it. This one I just loaded up this morning because I just emptied it this morning. So as soon as I empty it, I fill it back up. And so here's the conversion we're getting right now, which I'm really liking. You saw the pigs. The pigs look good. They look healthy. Good conformation. Weight gain looks solid. I'm doing 200 pounds, and this is lasting me 4 days. So 200 pounds for 15 pigs over the course of 4 days is the equivalent of 3 1/3 pounds of dry feed per pig that they're eating per day, which I love that. That's a good number. But then you can look at the mass that they're accumulating. So take that and put in 25 to 30 gallons of water. And so they're getting a lot more weight in their bellies, and I think that's really helping. I've noticed, A, no waste like we talked about, so none of the dry powder everywhere. B, it seems to be filling them better than if I just gave them that same amount of feed dry. C, I'm seeing it in the manure as well. The manure, A, doesn't have bits of grain in it, and B, doesn't have the odor. It just amazes me the odor that's gone from the pig manure since we're fermenting this. Now, there's a pretty good odor rocking right here that the boy says smells like pig manure. So maybe it's just passing it off. But I'm just really impressed with how the manure is not pungent like pig manure it usually is. Really the only downside, of course, is just managing this. As we scale up, obviously as the pigs get bigger, we want to obviously scale this up. So I'm just going to add barrels. There's been a lot of comments and suggestions on how to scale up or do away with the barrel system, go straight to buckets. But right now, I don't want to have 20 buckets all strewn out trying to ferment those. I like the barrel system. It keeps better track. I think I can count it, and doesn't take as much floor space. If I even doubled this, I had 2 barrels here, it wouldn't take nearly as much floor space in the garage or in the barn. So we'll keep updating you all on the pigs as we go along, as we get pasture opened up, as we move the boars, as we do all that kind of fun stuff. So stay tuned, and appreciate everyone subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to click that subscribe button. All right, take care, everybody.